Hello and welcome to AIUTA TV, the online TV show produced by the International Association of the Universities of the Third Age. And the first topic on which we will discuss today is AIUTA story, what U3As are and how they covered the world. And it is a great pleasure to welcome the President of the International Association of the Third Age, Prof.Francois Vellas. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
It will be really useful for us, Professor Vellas, to share your experience and your knowledge with us and to tell us more about the U3A movement and about AIUTA, which you lead as a president on a world scale. So first of all, could you tell us something more about yourself, some more words?
Thank you. AIUTA TV will be a link between the University of Toulouse and AIUTA all over the world. So I am very happy that we start AIUTA TV now. And as president of the AIUTA, it is a big step for the development of U3A worldwide. As you know, the beginning of the UTA and as well of the University of Toulouse start ago, 4 years ago, and it was in Toulouse. My father, Professor Pierre Vellas, decided to open the university to the society and as well what is expected by senior. Because as you know, now seniors are more and more active. And if you are retired, you need now to do something, to start something new. And this is why the University of Toulouse decided to host inside the university a university for seniors, called l'Université du Troisième Âge.
Very well.
I am now professor of university, and I am the director of the University of Toulouse. And for that, we follow what we started quite a long time ago. Thank you. This first AIUTA TV will link our headquarters in Toulouse with Bilal, as well the management of AIUTA TV in Bulgaria with Georgie, and here we are actually in Spain with Chenxu from China. So it is a talk that could be important for us.
I would like to ask you more about the historical moment in which your father created the first U3A. Can you share more about this specific period in France and in the world, and how?
Yes, it was a quite important period because, you know, in France we have big social and political events in 1968. That was a kind of revolution that started for the students that didn't want that the society focusing on consumption will occupy all their lives. So they wanted to invent new models. And for that, the university in France decided to move from traditional way to reach the expectation of the young student. And a few years after, in 73, the idea was to do something in the university, not only for the young, but as well for the senior. So this is a movement that starts in France, but very, very quickly, we start the university in 73, some new university of Toulouse were developed on the, from the French Toulouse experience models in Switzerland, in Italy, in Spain, in Belgium, in Poland, and that was the starting point in Europe. And the expectation was very important, because students find that they are going to build something important and new. And this is why I would like to share with you the experience now from the different models. So perhaps I think that Bilal from the headquarters in Toulouse can speak with you about the British model, and we shall speak about the continental and the French on U3A, and Chenxu, that is with me, we speak about China.
It's okay. It seems that for the moment we have some trouble with the connection with the Toulouse U3A.
Okay,
we will wait for Bilal.
Yes, I think...
I'm very tempted to ask you, you spoke about the movement, the protest movement in the 60s, and this is the historical context in which U3A appeared in Toulouse for the first time. But also I'm tempted to ask, can we relate, can we see a kind of connection between the U3A movement and what happened in the United States in terms of civil rights movement, what happens in terms of ecological paradigm and thinking about the environment, and what happened about the second wave of feminism, of the topic about the equal rights of all people. So can we think of U3A in a broader context as a part of a bigger social movement for equal rights and more possibilities for all? What do you think?
Yes, actually, U3A movement is part of this global movement. Global movement shows that the purpose of life need more quality of life in terms of new field for education, for knowledge, for self-education. And for that, the U3A movement is very important. And as well, U3A showed that nobody in the society will be a part of society. So, as you said, equal rights for everybody in the society is very important, and for senior, what we want from the U3A movement. Because in many countries and in many parts of society, sometimes senior are, the society is not looking to senior enough. And this is very important. And so, it is important that you know that there is a very big question about sustainability, about nature conservation, and as well about climate change. And for that, U3A and senior can bring their experience to new generation to find a sustainable solution on that.
Oh, thank you very much. So now we can go on with the presentation of the three models of U3As around the world. And the first...
Yes, I would suggest that I could present, I shall present the continental European model, and you could present the British, and with Bilal, and Chenxu can present about China.
Yeah, of course.
Will it be okay?
Of course. So the floor is yours. The first one.
The European, French or continental model of U3A is focusing on the university. University is a level of quality for the class, for the topics that are implemented at the University of Toulouse. So that means that the University of Toulouse need to be in the center of the university to benefit from the professor of the university, to benefit as well the higher level student of the university, and to provide different topics that we are teaching in university, not only for the young, but as well for the senior. But as well, in the French continental model, mixed what is education and what is some social activities. And so in this case, the benefit of the city is very important as well, because as you know, in the university we can have some special facilities for sport, and these facilities can be used for senior as well than for the young student. We have facilities for conference rooms, they can be used for students and for as well the senior. So this is the main aspect. It's important to have quality. We can have some guidelines on that. And it is, but the second aspect, there's another aspect that is very important, that in many continental universities, the registration fees are nearly to be free, very low level of registration fees for the students. And we want to do the same for the senior. So, because this university is the same models, for the senior, there is no barrier, there is no obstacle, financial obstacle, to be part of the University of Toulouse. And for that, University of Toulouse are really open to the society.
Thank you very much for this introduction in the French, or as you say, continental model of U3A. And now it is time to welcome our colleague Bilal Ali Ahmad from the University of Toulouse. Good day, bonjour. And
bonjour.
We are happy that you could join our conversation. So can you start with the presentation of the British model? But maybe, first of all, we would like to have a few words about yourself, and maybe just sharing about your work at the U3A in Toulouse.
Okay.
Maybe there is a problem with the connection. It seems that
I can't hear you.
You can speak with them.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
we can
you go on, yes?
Yeah, there is some strange sound. So if I muted now the sound. It's from Bilal. So we can continue with presenting the British model. I hope that Bilal will be able to join us again by discussing this. So my perspective on the British model is probably not the most precise, but what I find is a basic characteristic of this model is that compared to the French or continental model, the British model is not related to the real universities. So U3As are much more like charities or small NGOs which operate on a local level as independent units, and their topics are not closely related to the academic programs of the universities in their areas, because they have nothing in common. Their topics are related to the direct interests and also to the capacity of the members of the U3A. So they follow the principle: students teach and teachers learn. It's my mistake to write it like this. Let's see if Bilal can speak.
Yeah. We can say that the British way of developing U3A is as well very successful because it is a way to disseminate U3A all over the country, even in a very small place. This is why the link with university is not the same as the continental model, because if you are in very small village, you don't have universities there. So it's more like a national movement to develop education and activities for seniors, but focusing on education. That is as well very important for the development of what is expected by the in this country. And the way of doing is as well the same in Australia, in New Zealand, in some country like this one, to have a kind of network on a lot of small universities. The question is to guarantee the quality of the class, of the education, and this is belongs from a national organization, as is in UK, where there is a national trust for U3A. And this development is kind of what I think that it can be both. It can be this kind of development, and as well the development that belongs directly from university.
Now, I hope that Bilal can hear us and can contribute to our conversation. Do you hear me? Hear us?
Yes,
now?
I can hear you now.
So, can you present your work at the U3A and the Secretariat of AIUTA?
Yes. So I will talk about the U3A in Toulouse. First, U3A founded in 1973, and what we propose for our senior students, which are around 450 members, was last year. And so we proposed 2 discussion conference per week around different domain like economics, law, philosophy, literature, history, arts, music, and all topics which can interest senior students. Also, we proposed a workshop, for example, on drawing and visual arts, and courses in language, for example, in English, Spanish, Chinese, and we proposed physical activities like walking every 2 weeks, and English classes, as I said, and reading discussion groups also. And finally, we proposed guided tour here in Toulouse to discover architecture, culture of different monuments and museum in Toulouse.
Can you tell us?
So we start our activities in at the end of September until mid-June with 2 conferences per week.
Okay. Can you tell us more about the way the U3A in Toulouse creates its program? How U3A?
So in Toulouse, we asked the members, the senior members, on their we in different domains to propose some topics which can interest our students, and then we can establish the program for the year. This program can be sent at the end of the month.
Okay.
Topics and for sure from the past, from the philosophy, engineering, history, arts, and architecture.
Okay, thank you very much for your contribution. It was a very valuable experience. I believe that most of the universities of the third age should follow such way of communicating with their students. I believe that the best possible program should be really related to the interests of the people. This is the most important thing, I believe. So thank you for sharing this approach. Hopefully, as I'm part of the Bulgarian National University of the Third Age, hopefully we will continue working with this tradition. And now I would like to welcome Chenxu, who is representative of the Chinese part of U3A. He's with Professor Vellas in Spain. That's why there is the same scripture under his name, but he will tell us much more about the French model, about the Chinese model and the way U3As in China operate. So welcome and thank you for your participation. Could you please, dear colleague, present yourself with several words?
Thank you, Georgie. Hello, everybody. I will introduce some information about the U3A in China. The China Association of Universities for the Aged has an important role in developing U3A. It promotes the importance and benefits of U3As to get to the general public and to older people themselves, and support new venture like gaining government funding at national and the provincial level. It has supported local efforts to set up U3As. It's a very good example for other countries' government. In China, in the U3A of China, there are normally 7 types of courses. For example, healthcare and physical exercise, for example, Tai Chi, including literature, history, and something other course like skills, and hobbies, for example, travel, photograph, something like this. In China. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much too. What is very impressive for me as a researcher of the history of the U3A movement is that the Chinese model presents a very interesting approach that there is a state policy for the elderly, and U3As, the universities for the elderly, are part of this holistic perspective and holistic state policy, which I believe is very helpful to organize universities of the third age around the whole country, which is not exactly the European model or the British model, where the universities are self-organized depending on the interests in the community or some small university. But here we see a very holistic perspective, which is very important. And what I also was impressed is that there are plenty of courses and activities not directly related to the academics. But as I said, yes, can you tell us more about the traditional arts and the traditional crafts and other topics of daily activities that people used to to do by daily basis that are now studied and the universities for the elderly?
Yes. For example, some very traditional, for example, the calligraphy, painting traditional, some music and dancing traditional. This is what the older people in China, what they like. Maybe when they were young, they have not enough money, enough time to do something they like. But now they have something, they have something interesting, they have time, they have some, they have money, and all of this is supported by the government. So they do what they like right now, for example, painting and music and dancing. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I would like to ask Bilal, and after that we can continue with a kind of discussion of this with Professor Vellas. But I would like to ask, is there a difference, in your opinion, since you work in the headquarters of AIUTA in Toulouse, and you are in contact with many people from all continents? So, is there a relation between the cultures and the types of the U3As? Is there some logic, or could we search for a logic when we discuss about the moment of appearance, of creation of U3A model and the place where it was created? So, in your opinion, what led U3As to such diversity? Who would like to take part?
Yeah. What we can see is that in every kind of country, it is the same kind of expectation. The expectation is different. If you look to China, the way to which the expectation belongs first from the government. And the government decides to do national policy for U3A. And after, the different parts of the country, I mean the province, I mean the municipality, I mean they decided to support the initiative from the government and to develop a network of university in the whole country. If you look to the expectation in France, in a continental European country, the expectation is the same, that it's important to do something for the senior that want to reach new level of education and knowledge and so on. But there is no governmental initiative on that. It is a different initiative from the universities. That means that the universities in Europe are autonomous. So they can decide to do what they want. And after, of course, they need some agreement from government, but they have a large initiative possibilities. And for that, they take the initiative to reach the expectation of the student. And if you look to England, to UK, it's a little bit different because the initiative belongs from the elderly themselves. That means that seniors themselves try to organize themselves and to build, to have some initiative on education, and after to build a local network, and after that to build national network. And so they have a national network, but this national network is very different that you can have in China, for instance.
That's right.
So what is interesting is that everybody wants to go on the same mode.
So we can say that the diversity is an asset for the U3A movement, and not a problem, but really asset, a positive part. So it's also important to study these different models. And I would like to ask, is it possible to exist a combined, mixed types of U3As? Do you know about?
Yes, this is what we are looking in AIUTA, because in AIUTA is a place for exchange from U3A, for experience, and of course, from this exchange, one of the results is to combine. But you need to think that sometimes there is some obstacles that can be financial obstacles, for instance, to combine. But I think this is very important because there is no reason to have separate between the three models. And because, as I said, it is the same expectation. So the combination would be more and more important in the future.
So probably the U3A of the future will be a kind of combination between elements of these three approaches. I see. Now, Professor Vellas,
because there is a large movement of U3A. If you look to AIUTA, there is nearly 50 countries participating to AIUTA. And if you take the networks, such as the Chinese network, part of AIUTA, or the British network that is part of AIUTA, it is more than 35,000 universities that think 45,000 that are linked together through what the AIUTA U3A movement.
So, since we started talking about AIUTA, can you present to our viewers some more information about the international associations of the universities of the Third Age? When it was created?
Yes.
Yes.
The AIUTA was created not more than 2 years after the first creation of university. Why soon? Why was it so soon? It is because Toulouse, University of Toulouse was created in other country. So this university didn't want to be alone. And they said we need a place to exchange and to build a new program between us. So for that, the university, the International Association of University, was set up in 1975 in Toulouse as well. And since this beginning, more and more countries and continent joined the AIUTA. It was first continent to join AIUTA was North America in Canada. Then it was South America, mainly Chile, what was one of the countries to develop U3A. Then Central America, Costa Rica is one of the as well important country for AIUTA. And 10 years after, Asia joined AIUTA, mainly with China, and we said very important Chinese network of U3A. Yes. And now, continent coming, we have Middle East, and Lebanon is part of AIUTA now, and we have Africa with 2 networks of university, the Nigerian network from Nigeria, and the Senegal network from Senegal. And as well, India, finally, Indian Ocean with the University of Mauritius. So now we can say that AIUTA is a worldwide movement on all over the continent.
Very well. And of course, I agree, it's a place for exchange of practices, best practices, ideas, and experience. But what are the main fields of agency of AIUTA towards the external world? Actually, what AIUTA advocates now on a governmental or international level?
Yes, we have 3 main aspect of policy to develop university worldwide. The first one is our main topic. It is education for seniors. And we develop new program of education that we share and on the website. And I think AIUTA TV will be one of the most important way to share with university education program. And a new event on AIUTA TV would focus on education.
That's right.
Is research, because university means not only teaching, but as well researching. And this is why for University of Toulouse, AIUTA supports research in different fields that are very important for seniors. For instance, we have research with tourism, and we develop actually senior study tool for tourism. We have research on medical aspect with University of and Faculty of Medicine. We have research as well on art and culture. And these are most of the field of research. And we do as well international conference that are linked with governing board meeting of AIUTA. And these international conferences are not only a way to exchange, it's a way to add new development for U3As. So it's a way for innovation. And one of the important, as you can see, meeting is to innovate, for instance, as summer university. And we have in September a new program in Balear Islands at the University of Toulouse in the Balear about the University for Seniors. As well, we develop we support the development of international cooperation between European universities. And that was one of the purposes of Bratislava conference, that you can see the photo actually. In this conference, we developed new program and new idea between Western and Eastern Europe universities that are part of the EU, such as Bulgaria, Romania, Slovakia, France, Italy, and so on, and universities that are European but not part of the EU, such as Iceland. We have a program with Iceland, and such as Ukraine as well, and or Russia, Federation of Russia. And we have this kind of program. So it is important to do this kind of innovation for the University of Toulouse.
A big international.
It is a big, and it is as well the cooperation between continents. As you can see, it will be in the future different in China, in Asia, in South America, in Brazil as well, and next one would be in Nigeria.
Big international family.
Yes, and I would like to add that our next, and I am happy to invite everybody to attend, will be our next international conference will be in Bogota, Colombia, hosted by the University of Toulouse Unilatina, and this conference will be on 28, 29, 30 of November, and in this conference we shall see what is the link between University of Toulouse, university and public authorities, that means ministry, to see how that could be a new development of policy for University of Toulouse.
very, very impressive. So thank you very much.
Thank you
for taking part in this first AIUTA show. And I believe in future it will be a more important, integral part of the communication.
Yes. And I would like to thank to send a word to thank especially the initiative from Bulgaria and the team of University of Bulgaria to bring this new event from AIUTA TV and a new way of sharing experience and doing more from AIUTA. So thank you. As president of AIUTA, I would like to thank very much the Bulgarian initiative.
Thank you too. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the first talk show of AIUTA TV called AIUTA Story, what U3As are and how they covered the world, with the participation of Professor Francois Vellas, Bilal Ali Ahmad, and Chenxu Wang. Thank you very much. Stay with us in our next talk show dedicated to the education programs for the elderly.
Merci.